All right, so welcome back to another episode of the Reconize Game podcast. We are at the Nuke Squad house. I have a very special guest here. This is another one of the highly asked for interviews. I'll give you a little backstory of how I know this gentleman. I met this person probably like around 2019. He was in college as a basketball coach, playing basketball, just doing everything. He ended up getting into gaming. And now he is who you call FaZe JSmooth. I got the JSmooth episode here for you guys. Jay, welcome to the Game podcast, my brother. I appreciate you.
That was an amazing intro.
Hey,
Damn, I
man.
felt special for
you
that
are,
one.
bro, you are the fucking man.
Nah, I
you know what I'm
appreciate it.
saying?
And you said highly recommended. That means
bro,
a lot.
this is very highly asked, bro. When I put out this, I put out like a tweet and I put it on a video, like, yo, who are some of the people you guys want me to interview, bro? I can show you on my phone right now. You probably got requested at least 8 times.
Damn, that's love. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank
people love it. You know,
Thank
people
you.
love you, brother.
Thank you.
You know,
It's
you're one of the realest streamers that are one of the black streamers, because you know a lot of times like black streamers they tend to not completely be themselves. But you're one of the ones that, since I've met you, you've always been the same.
I love that. Thank you. I mean, that's just authentic. That's who I am. I think that's the best way to show myself.
That's the only way to show yourself.
If I was anything else, I don't think, you know what I mean, I'll be here right now.
Man, and I definitely recognize that.
That's love. I appreciate it.
All right, so people already know who you are, but for the people that don't know who you are, we're going to start at the beginning.
Yeah.
Okay? You're from Phoenix, but you were born in Ohio, isn't that correct?
Yeah, from Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
I lived there till I was about 8 years old. And then my mom started going to school at GCU.
Okay.
And my dad got a job at the post office in Arizona. It was either like there or Tennessee I was going to move to. Okay. But ended up being Arizona. So I got in a car, drove 3 days to a place I ain't never been to. I didn't know what was going on. Right. And then, I happened to be stationed in Arizona for the latter part of my life.
Okay. So you're stationed in Arizona, and you made some pretty interesting friends when you were in Arizona.
Yeah. So with that, I was living in Tempe at the time, and then I moved to the South Phoenix. And then in middle school, high school, stuff like that, or middle school, elementary schools in Tempe. Made a lot of friends, good friends, and then moved to the South Phoenix, and I ended up meeting the Lamberson boys. One was BJ, another one was Carolyn, and then the last one, as you guys know, was Swagg, aka Chris. So, and then those people have been my friend. That's like my second family. Right. Been down with them for going on like 14 years now. Yeah, bro. So it's a beautiful thing.
Definitely
beautiful
family.
Thing.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Family.
Facts.
So when you were in Phoenix, Chris played a lot of basketball. I remember seeing a lot of like pictures and videos of you playing ball. You played ball too, didn't you?
Yeah, I played. I did everything. Baseball was actually like my first love.
Really?
Yeah, I was really big into baseball when I lived in Ohio.
Okay.
Like I thought that I was gonna do. I loved third base. That was my favorite position.
Okay.
Then I moved to Arizona. It got hot. So I said, I'm going to go inside. I played a little bit of youth baseball. Okay. And then I went to, like I said, I went to hoop. But when I was in high school, middle school, I had to play everything because I was at a small school. So in order for us to, like, get basketball season going, we had to participate in the other sports. So I ran cross country. Yeah. Yeah, I've always been big. I was smaller, but I was always big. So cross country is not for me. I did soccer. I did baseball, track, whatever you can think of, I've done it. But high school, I played basketball, football, and I ran track. I didn't play baseball because the team was bad, so I was like, I'm not gonna go out and do it. It was a bad team, so.
I feel that. So you played all of those sports in junior high, and then you got to high school. And when did you like start focusing on? Because you were a basketball player, right?
Yeah. So like, I knew I had the physical abilities to play football. I've always been obviously a big stature guy. People today still be like, "You're playing? Where'd you play at?" Like, they still think I played football. I only did a year, and it wasn't because I was scared or anything like that. The year I played football, I actually had, like, that was like the most team building thing I've ever done because those are 50 kids that you have to get together and try to have the same common goal. So it was really a lot. I made a lot of good friends during football. I was pretty good. If I applied myself probably a little bit more, I played JV in varsity, but I probably would have got more burn on varsity, especially because I was a tight end. Okay. And the tight ends got hurt. Okay. And I could catch. Right. And I could run a little bit. Okay. So I know I probably could have impacted them more. My junior year, they really wanted me out, which I didn't play, but they really wanted me out. I probably could have helped them make the state championship. I don't know if we would have won,
Right.
But I think I could have helped him.
I'm sorry. Go. I'm sorry.
No, sorry about that. But the reason why I focus on basketball so much because I wanted to play varsity.
Okay.
And that was like my big goal. I played 3 years of varsity, so I was just trying to do everything I could to play varsity. And as you're probably gonna go, I knew we were gonna win the state championship.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
I knew we were gonna win it, and I wanted to be a part of the reason why we won.
Okay.
So that was my biggest focus.
Okay. So how many state championships did you win while you were in school?
So I ended up getting 2.
Okay.
I got back to back.
Nice. Hard to do.
Very hard to do. 3. We went 2 out of 4.
Okay.
We went my sophomore year, but I didn't play. My junior year, we won. That year, we knew we were gonna win. Right. If you guys probably know, Swagg was a basketball god, bro. That kid averaged like 25, 5, and 5. The kid was, but he could never get a 30-point game.
Never.
It was the craziest thing. Yeah. He was always getting 29, so he could never get a 30-point game. It was actually the craziest thing. I think he's like our school's all-time leading scorer. He should have been like, he probably could have had a 50 ball if he wanted to, but it didn't matter to him. But yeah, we won state championship my junior year, but my senior year, I knew we were gonna win it, but there was a lot of discrepancies going on my senior year. Me and my coach, we weren't like seeing eye to eye. We really should have lost the game.
Really? Why is that?
So, long story short, we had a point guard who ended up playing my senior year. Mm-hmm. He was a defensive point guard. He can't make a layup to save his life. Every time he got a steal, we would always trail him because he knows he's gonna miss a layup.
Right.
And it was tied. We were down it was a low scoring game. We fucking played horrible. It was tied like 39 all. Really? It's that low scoring game. No. We were down by 2.
Okay.
And the last play of the game, my coach drawed up a play for him to take.
Oh, no.
Not even our best player who was a big man. It was drawn up for him to take.
Okay.
So this kid gets the ball. He gets off a high screen and roll, coming downhill. He has the nerve to throw a floater from free throw line.
I'm sorry.
He threw a floater from the fucking free throw line. Can I cuss? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good, bro.
He threw a floater from the fucking free throw line and it banked in.
Wow.
And it sent us to overtime, and we won in overtime.
Wow.
I said, you had the nerve to shoot a floater. You can't even make a regular layup. A floater? But there was a lot of discrepancy my senior year, but regardless of the fact, we ended up winning. So I was blessed enough and fortunate enough to get 2 back-to-back state championships against the same team we beat. So it was a big rivalry. So it was a great game.
Oh, that sounds very, very fun. Mm-hmm. So getting into gaming, because that's around the time you actually got into gaming. Is that correct?
So yeah, I've gamed my whole life.
Uh-huh.
I mean, man, I remember the first console I was a Dreamcast.
Really?
So I had a Dreamcast. I had PS1, PS2, 360, to PS4, PS5, PC.
Right.
You know, if I played, I'll go to friends' houses. I played GameCube. I've always just played games.
So what was the first game that you could remember like playing that really like got you into the gaming thing?
The first game I can remember me playing was Ready to Rumble on Dreamcast.
Ooh, that's a game right
and
there.
that was really fun because I got to play with my brother.
Right.
But probably as we got older, the PS1. Playing the Maddens and like some of I forgot the basketball games at the time. Mm-hmm. But me, my dad, my uncle, my brother, we would play. It wasn't Fight Night, but it was a Muhammad Ali boxing game.
Okay.
I can't remember the name, but it's really he's standing over Frazier. I remember the casing of it, okay. But it was a Muhammad Ali boxing game, and so that's the game we probably always played. And then that's when I was like 5 at the time, okay. But I was just always playing.
From then on, you were just playing.
Yeah, always.
So when did you finally get into the Call of Duty?
When I got the 360.
Okay.
We ended up trading. My dad had a friend who worked at GameStop.
Okay.
So he said if you trade on your PS2, all the games, all your memory cards, and all your controllers, he'd give us an Xbox 360 and a game and a controller. So I'm like, okay, yeah. Like hell yeah, like I'm gonna do that. Right. And my parents are trying to pay $300 for that.
Facts.
So they said they did that, and I ended up getting a few games, but I ended up getting Halo 3.
Ooh.
So that was probably the first like real like actual game I got like so into. That's probably the only still multiplayer games I could play by myself, play with friends. I played it split screen.
Right.
I have so many man hours on it.
Right.
So I ended up getting MW2 because that was the same time it dropped.
Right.
But I didn't understand how to play the game, like multiplayer. I played Big Red 1 and all that stuff like that, the campaigns. But the multiplayer portion, I never played it. So I really never liked MW2. It was whatever to me. It was like, okay, cool. But it was like MW3 and then BO1. BO1 was what it is. Okay. BO1 was a game I really multiplayer-wise got into.
Okay. Is that so Call of Duty was probably like your first FPS game?
Nah, not like multiplayer. Absolutely.
Right, multiplayer. Okay.
Yeah, because because.
Well, no, because
No,
I
had
guess Halo.
I had
Halo.
Halo.
Yeah, I think I forgot you said Halo. Yeah.
So Halo would have been the first. That was the first ever multiplayer game I had.
Okay, and you obviously did well enough in Halo because you put that many hours in.
I put a lot of hours in. I was young though. I didn't know we were. Those are the montages back in the day. I didn't know what an HPVR and stuff.
Right.
I was just playing. I got like the Colonel grade 2.
Okay.
I was a pretty high ranked. I played a lot of socials, ranked, customs, everything you could think of. So, I never gamed though competitively.
Okay.
That was the thing about me. I just love to have fun. Like,
right.
I just see 6 hours, 8 hours go by. The competitive thing I'm not the biggest competitive guy.
Okay.
Believe it or not.
Okay.
I'm actually really not. And that's probably why I'm the way I am now. I just like to have fun. I like to have good vibes. I like to enjoy the time with my friends or my community or everything like that. So that's kind of my side of it.
Okay. So is it fair to say that without you, there wouldn't be no swag? And the reason why I say that is because you're the one that actually introduced him in the Call of Duty.
I think
I'm trolling, but you know what I mean.
I don't know. I can kind of take credit for it.
Right.
But I think one of my friends could have still introduced him to it because we were around the 360.
Right.
But all my friends lived all our friends or mutual friends lived 30, 45 minutes away from us.
Right.
And I lived 5 minutes away from him growing up.
Right.
So I was the one that can physically bring him the Xbox over to his house. So maybe he would have found his way. I don't want to. That's a question you probably have to ask him.
I should have asked him.
Yeah, I don't want to take too much credit for it, but I will take the credit that I did show him.
Right.
And I did open his eyes to this world.
Right.
But like I said, I remember it's yesterday. I remember he used to ask his mom for a 360. That's all he wanted for Christmas.
Right.
He begged her to get it, and when he did, it was over. And so and I was happy he got it. And even I never knew we'd be doing this.
Right, because you guys are doing it.
But I was just I can never play with one of my really good friends on the game. And that's the mindset of that.
Okay. I like that mindset. So you kind of introduced him to Call of Duty, and you guys were playing for a while, and then you went off to college.
Mm-hmm. I think he got separation anxiety from me, by the way. I didn't know. I don't know. He may not tell me, but I think he was a little sad I left.
Okay.
But I personally needed to leave Arizona.
Okay.
When I moved there, first of all, I never wanted to stay there. I actually hated it. I hated Arizona. I love Arizona now.
Right.
But I hated it growing up. I never wanted to be there. I wanted to leave. It was so stagnant. The neighborhood and where we're from and all the kids we saw, it was always I'm going to make it out. I'm going to play ball. And they're just doing nothing. They live at home. There was just no process. There was just exceeding expectations. And so I needed to leave. From a personal standpoint, because my household wasn't the greatest.
Okay.
I personally didn't have the greatest relationship with my mother at the time.
Okay.
And then my dad was was cool. There was a lot of just shit.
Right.
In my house.
Right.
That and one thing about me too was a lot of my people from high school, they would leave and go to college for sports, but they'll come right back.
Okay.
And I was I'm not gonna be that kid. I'm gonna learn how to stand on my own 2 feet. I'm gonna learn how to grow, and I want to take this opportunity and really use it. So I was originally gonna go to Colorado.
Okay.
And I had a preferred walk-on spot at Colorado Christian.
Okay.
But Liberty accepted me first, so everyone just went to Virginia, and that was that. But yeah, I left for a few years, and then for college.
So in Virginia, what was that that experience like? Finally leaving home for the first time, going and being your own man.
In Virginia, it opened my eyes to the world.
Okay.
So many different things, and a lot of people were Virginia, Lynchburg, Virginia. That's where I was at.
Right.
And they're gonna you can cook it, right? But my school at that time, I don't know if it still is now, because obviously I'm not there. But at that time, was extremely diverse. I had met people who were from the Bahamas. I met friends that from Dominican Republic, New York, Pennsylvania, overseas. They were everywhere. It was a lot of diversity at that school. So it opened my eyes to different cultures, different music, different foods, different lifestyles, different lingos, all that stuff like that, which was awesome for me. And it just made me learn how to just live this life. I had to find a new barber. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a haircut for 4 months.
Right.
I had to learn just all these new things. But I think that's the one thing about myself in life that I've always been. I looked forward to. I think life is a movie.
Okay.
You know, and I love the experience of life. I love the failure of it. I love the succession of it. I love it all. Like, I love the growth of it because I know you're going to always grow. Even when you're at your lowest point, you're always going to grow. So I always hold on to that. I know I'm going to make it through it. So I was okay with it. Like, I was just like, all right, let's do it. Like, this is the chapter of life. This is like the climax or whatever in my movie that I have to go through. And I was totally fine with it.
That's a great mindset to have, to know that you're always going to make it through, because there are some tough life lessons that you learn, especially at that age, being, you know, late teens into your early manhood years. It's a great mindset to have.
Yeah, I just always felt like that.
That's good. That's good. What would you say being in college was your greatest experience?
To be honest, it's maybe like, I don't want to sound like dramatic or whatever, but was my ex-girlfriend. My ex-girlfriend, she wasn't the greatest to me. It wasn't a great relationship. I went through a lot of BS with it.
Right.
And it kind of molded me as like a man to stand up for myself and
I like that.
speak for myself. Became a real asshole.
Sometimes that's that villain arc. When you get hurt,
I
that's
had
that
my
villain arc.
but like I enjoyed it. But at the same time, I just like felt like I'm never gonna let anybody run over me again. But it also just like made me just figure out to like take care of my business and take care of myself, and to just like not like deal with the BS that is going on. You feel me? Like, you're just gonna keep going with it. So that was one of them. And then to be honest, me coaching my latter part of my years, being 22 years old, 21 years old, and I'm coaching 18-year-olds, 17-year-olds in high school, and that gave me more sense of patience. Because I was coaching inner city kids. And like, them motherfuckers was rough. So like, even just having the patience and the wherewithal with that, and then being around my coach, I'm 21, my coaches are 40, 50 years old with me. Just giving me life lessons. I love being around OGs and old heads. Because they give me just more experience to life.
They give you the game a little bit.
Hell yeah.
So did you feel like learning patience from them, the inner city kids, because that's kind of like looking into a mirror? Because in Ohio, was that where you lived at, was that considered the inner city?
Where I was in Ohio, I was in the inner city. I was in a rough neighborhood. But my mom got me out of it quick because she was like, I don't want you around it. And even in Tempe, when I moved to Arizona, it was a bit rough, and even South Phoenix. But I think my whole life, like, you could never persuade like Jay to do like anything he didn't want to do.
I know that.
Like, if I didn't want to do something, I didn't want to do it. Like, there would be kids when I was 15, 16 years old that would smoke weed right in front of me, and I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it. Like, I'm cool. But they wouldn't like press me or whatever about it. So with all that, like, I never really got like peer pressured. I'm very fortunate. I'm very blessed. And I just kind of knew right from wrong. Like, I don't have a lot of crazy young stories. Because one, I was scared about my mom beat my ass.
She's a very strong woman, because I know your mother.
My mom was extremely strong-willed.
Yes.
And I just didn't want to cause her problems. And I was like, let me not get in trouble. So I just do what I need to do. I'm going to go home. I'm going to play the game. And I'm going to chill. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm going to go play my sports. So all the other BS, I never like kind of like had an urge or like wanted to do it. I just like, nah, I'm cool. I'm good.
I feel that. So getting back to the college, because you won back-to-back state championships in high school as a player, did you win any championships as a coach?
No. I mean, the only thing I did win, I won intramurals. I won an intramural championship my first year, which was pretty tough to do.
That's good.
It was pretty tough to do.
Right.
We won an intramural championship coming off my next year, but that was it. Basketball kind of stopped at that, but in high school, it was tough. We were trying to teach just my players, you know, just the game of basketball, teamwork and stuff. There was a big learning experience. Like, our best player, they had a really strong-willed parents. So their dad he would make himself known at games. You know, like, he like had an argument with one of my players on the court. It was insane. Yeah. So, you know, don't ever want to talk bad about him, because his son was really, 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 really good. But he, you know, is learning from his father and stuff like that. So he's trying to figure out right from wrong, what to do. And he's 16, 17 years old. My 2 years I coached, we made it to the playoffs, which was good. We had like about like 3-4 wins over 500. But nothing ever deep. I mean, one of the teams I won, one of the kids was going to like Virginia Tech.
Really?
Yeah, he was a hooper.
Oh, he was hooping for real to go to Virginia Tech.
Yeah, a motherfucker was 6'6", lefty.
Oh, you had a real one.
Yeah, he was a hooper. So, we couldn't the coaching aspect. We didn't get a chance to go that far. But even if that takes so much time, you got to have the right team, the right chemistry, and then even in all that, whatever you do, you have to have a little luck.
Yeah.
Like I said, going back to my state championship game, we got to have a little luck to win it. You know what I mean? Because my point guard shooting a floater.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got to have a little luck on your side, no matter if you have everything. So no injuries and stuff like that. So it probably took me a while. It probably took me 5-6 years to probably get there. But you still just learn that process. You love it. And then I saw when I was coaching, that every time they were pushing me, I always wanted to help the next kid. So I was really getting into it. I want to go back. I want to go back coaching, and I do want to start an AAU team.
Nice.
I want to start an AAU team, a new squad AAU team.
That'd be so fire.
For 17, 16, the high school range. I really want to start that within the next year or so.
That's so fire.
And then I want to try to get the motherfuckers in EYBL. I want some dogs.
That's fire,
you know what I'm saying?
Bro.
And so just giving back to the community.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, that's what I really want to do. So so just doing all that, and I was getting into it, but life moved on, and my coach was like, "Nah, you got to get up out of here."
I feel that.
I
feel that. So giving back to the community, I know recently you just did a video that I saw where you were giving back to streamers.
Yeah.
Why is it so important to you to give back?
I mean, I always say my biggest thing, and I say this all the time, and I don't take it lightly. I'm not here without you guys.
Right.
I'm not here without any of you guys, not my community. And a lot of people always say to me Jay, you should be bigger. Why aren't you bigger than you are? You know what? It doesn't matter about that.
Right.
God got his timing with it.
Very true.
If I average 20,000 viewers every night on Twitch, if I have 5.5 million subscribers on YouTube, then we get there.
Right.
It's a long process with it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm fine with it. I'm fine with my 50, my 100, my 200, whatever. But I try to give back as much as possible. I did that beginning part of my stream, and then now. When I moved to LA, it got really, really busy. Yeah. And I feel like I was disconnecting from my community a little bit. That I feel kind of hurt me. I'm still trying to get back today.
Right.
And like I said, I always just want to give back because I never know. It's just beautiful to do.
I agree.
You feel me? These people take their time, their effort, their money to help me out. The less I can do is try to help somebody else out. Right. And then I think everybody in the house, as you know, we're all very humble.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm bigger than what I am, but people tell me nah, you the shit. And I'm like, really? I'm like, all right.
I told you people requested this interview at least 8 or 9 times.
And it does mind blow me, but it always reassures me all right, I need to start going harder and harder because people are out there really rooting for me. You feel me? Yes, so if I'm able to just go into somebody's stream and say yo, what's up, and ask them a question, and they're yo, smooth, and they're lit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm hell yeah, I want to get back to them because I even tell a quick story.
Go ahead, please.
I remember when we first met.
Right.
And I went to the last ever CWL in Anaheim.
Yep.
And I'm seeing you, Swagg, Pomage, all these guys. Yeah. People are running up to you guys, getting autographs, getting pictures. I was like, that is the fucking coolest thing. Yeah. And then I remember it happened to me the next year. The first ever person, I don't remember his name, but if you were watching this, I'm so sorry. And I remember who you are. But we were in Atlanta, and that was the first ever fan, whatever.
Because I remember
we all took a picture with my mans, and he was lit that he saw us. I forgot his name too. Bro, he used to be in the chats all the time.
Yes, bro. You know what's so funny? We still talk on Twitter, and I'm drawing a blank on his name.
He's a bigger fella, I think. He's a big fella.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, but I still talk to him on Twitter, bro.
And so he was one of the first. I remember that. I'll never forget that. He was one of the first people that I've ever took a picture with, and he asked for an autograph, and I was like, me? Right. And it's the coolest thing, and to be here today, and just to if I'm inspiring the next generation, whatever, I think that's awesome, and I'm gonna keep doing what I try to do. But with inspiring, I want them to also show, what I'm saying, that you see what we're doing. We're never too big. Swagg's giving back, I give back, everybody, and it's not to just I don't need it for a pat on the back. That's the reason why I don't do things. I don't think things are you're so no. I do it out the grace of my heart because that's what we wanted. I wanted to just give back to you guys. Right. And I'm fortunate enough to do it. Right. That's the biggest thing too. I'm able to do it. So that's the coolest part.
That is the coolest part because I remember, like I said, I remember my first time somebody asking me for it, and I'm like, whoa. And it just goes to show, with you in particular, like even when you guys go out now, because I've been around, people mob you guys, like literally mob you guys. Yeah. And I always think it's so cool that you guys take the time to try to get to everyone, and sometimes you can't. Yeah. But you do take the time to get to everyone. I think that's fucking awesome.
It's rare we don't, and like we'll maybe have to pee, and we'll be like, "Fuck it, we'll just take these out real quick and just hold it," because like, I mean, it's awesome. We're not too big. We don't feel like we're not too big and stuff like that. Like we're just regular dudes. So like, of course, if we can take a picture, shake some hands, dab people up, ask them how they're doing, that's awesome. A lot of them be scared. They be nervous. Like, I remember I took a picture of somebody. It was awesome. They were shaking. Wow. I mean, they were shaking. I thought it was the coolest thing. I was like, damn, like, I feel like LeBron in this bitch. I was like, damn, like, cool.
Hey, oh, God, bro, for real.
It was awesome.
So you know, getting back into, like, giving back to the community and giving back to your following, you know, one of the coolest things, and I also said this to Swagg, like, people love to give back, but I think it means even more to be inclusive to people of color. Yeah. Why is that so important to you, to give back to people of your own skin color?
I mean, just because there are so many talented people that look like me, right, and that don't maybe get the recognition or the love or the respect, or even just sometimes it's a push. So it's like, I mean, I've been there. I've averaged 2 viewers. I've been talking the night by myself for months. Like I've been there. Like I've posted on YouTube. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Like I have been there. Right. So to have just that little push to somebody to like let them know like, yo, you good. Like, you know what I'm saying? Your time is coming. Right. It's awesome. And, you know, it's no like problem to anybody who is not person of color. But, you know, there's some talented motherfuckers out there that we want to try to show some recognition to. And it's not just black people. It's Spanish people. It's people of age. It's any people of color. Right. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, I love to show that. We love to try to just give back to them because we also understand that most of our community is people of color. Right. So, you know, we want to give back to the people who are supporting us because what we look like, you know what I'm saying? All right, cool. Fuck y'all. You know what I mean? That's ass.
I get what you mean. So. And, you know, one of the people that you gave back to is like, she's like my sister, bro. Merc by skirt. That's like my little sister, bro.
Yeah, she's a
and I appreciate the fact that you guys, you know, helped her with the whole McDonald's thing and all of that. It was so dope to see you guys give back, but also because I had a personal interest in that because that's my little sister. And it's just so dope to see you guys do that sort of thing, man. I fucking love that about you guys, bro. All of you guys do that, bro. Yeah. All of you. Now, getting back a little bit into Call of Duty, when did you realize, like, because you were off at school, right? When did you realize, like, Swagg was really, like, turning into swag?
When I was in college, I remember this like it was yesterday too. So by the way, I want to give a shout out too, because I want to let everybody know, Chris is probably the most genuine person ever. I'm a little bit protective of him because his how genuine he is can get taken over and he may not see it. Right. But like I'm not like protective of him, like you can't be friends with him. Like who the fuck are you friends with? Right. Just like I don't want him to put too much into the wrong person, he gets hurt. Right. But he's usually pretty good about having the right friends around him. So Chris is an amazing friend because while I was off in college doing my own thing, I kind of got lost in the sauce or whatever, just doing my own thing. Right. But he would check up and text me. Right. And he didn't have to do that shit. Right. And I remember like, that meant a lot to me right then and there. I was like, yeah, he's really like my guy because like he's still doing YouTube. He's taking a chance on himself and he's trying. And so as much as possible, I would try to go back and play with him. The only game I could not play with him was World War II. I fucking hated that game.
And, you know, when you weren't playing, guess who had to step in? I was in that damn game every day, and I hated that game.
I couldn't do it. I said, bro, I hated that game. And so I would watch when he was streaming on YouTube and stuff like that. I was watching some of his videos, not all of them. But the thing that I knew Swagg was Swagg. He was at about 400K at the time. And I'm going to my sports management class. And so we all have our laptops, and I'm chilling. And one of my homies, my boy Tim, shout out my boy Tim.
Shout out to Tim.
He was watching Chris's video. Okay. And I was like, yo, bro, who you watching? He's like, this is Swagg. I was like, oh, word? I said, that's my guy. I know him. Right. That's my best friend. He's like,
Right.
no, the fuck it isn't.
Right.
And I FaceTime Chris.
That's so fire.
And then, like, luckily he answered because he don't answer his goddamn phone now.
Right.
Luckily he answered, and I showed him. He was like, what the fuck? Swagg knows the story because I called him. And so that's when I knew. I was like, I'm in fucking Virginia in a random class, and I got this kid is watching him. Right. I was like, okay. Like, he's starting to do his thing, and then Warzone, and the rest is history.
So you got back into like Warzone and streaming because you started off as a Dokkan streamer, correct?
Yes, sir. I started off. So one of my other college friends, we had like a little group, all my anime guys, whatever, fuck, and they were playing a mobile game on their phone. It was Dokkan. But I was like, what the fuck is that? And it was like, oh, it's just a mobile game. You kick cards, da 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 da. And I thought it was the coolest thing. So actually, what happened with that? I had lost my original account.
Okay.
And I got a new one, but my new one was better.
Okay.
So then I was like, okay, and then the streaming shit started happening. So yeah, but I started off on Dokkan.
Started off on Dokkan, and then you kind of like not streamed, but you kind of like fell into the Call of Duty scene a little bit, and then you were doing 2K and all of that stuff too. So now you're in college. You're coming towards the end of college now, and now you're trying to be a full-time streamer at that point in time.
Yo, so this is, the streaming thing was. I knew I could do that shit.
Right.
YouTube, I don't think I could do. I just I was like, because at the time it was about gameplays.
Okay.
Especially Call of Duty.
Right.
And I'm getting maybe 20, 30 kills. Ain't nobody worried about that. I'm not getting Moabs. I'm not getting nukes. I'm not really that type of guy. Maybe I could have did personality stuff, but I wasn't thinking that far ahead.
Right.
So I remember I came home and I was like, and I ran back into Twitch.
Okay.
Because I forgot about it. And I saw these two streamers streaming on 2K. And they're talking about music and debates about sports athletes. I was like, I could do this shit. I said, I can do it easily. Right. And when I know I could do something, I'm going to fucking go do it. So then I started seeing and then I started chilling out from my party and stuff. And when I partied, I didn't like get drunk and shit. I just went out. But I started getting back into gaming because I almost sold my PS4 actually.
Really?
In college. I almost sold it because I wasn't never on it anymore.
Right.
Then I was playing 2K and stuff. And I was like, man, I just need to start streaming this. So I did the Dokkan thing. And the Dokkan thing was working. I was building a little small community out of that. I got my first like 2,000 followers from there, which was really hard because the community is tiny.
Right.
Averaging 40, 50 people, a lot of fun. And then what had happened was it was dying out for me a bit because Dokkan is expensive. Being a mobile game is expensive, and I'm in college on a refund check and shit like that, so it was a little tough. And when I was doing Dokkan, I was trying to figure out if I want to do Overwatch or 2K. But 2K was toxic as hell, especially at the time. And Overwatch was cool. So with Call of Duty, I came back to it, started playing BO4. That's when I really got back into Call of Duty. And I never thought of anything of a full time. I was really just doing it because I was having fun. And that's all that was. I didn't give myself an expectation. Because if I would have given myself an expectation, I'd be rushing the process and worrying too much. So,
okay, that's good. That's really good. You had the wherewithal to understand where you needed to go. Speaking of that, now Warzone comes out. You're starting to stream Warzone. That's when we were like playing a lot together. And NICKMERCS.
Oh man, with that, what happened with Nick?
Yeah, how did that? Well, so I'll backtrack a little bit because I remember when we were in Atlanta, the Atlanta FaZe homestand, right? And we had the opportunity, right? We had to choose who we wanted to meet.
Yeah.
Remember, it was either Nick and Corday was there.
Yeah.
And we had to choose, and we were all standing in a circle, and we're like, all right, we kind of want to meet Corday, but you stood on the Nick thing.
Yeah.
You really wanted to meet Nick, and you didn't get a chance to meet Nick at that point in time. But fast forward maybe 6 months, now you're friends with Nick.
You know what? I didn't even think about how quick of a turnaround that was.
Yeah.
Damn, I just thought about that right now. That is crazy.
Fast forward 6 months.
It was about 6, 7 months.
And now Nick knows who you are, and you guys are friends. And then describe the feeling when he rated you that time.
So, oh God, the rate. All right, let me backtrack a little bit.
Okay, go ahead.
So when we were in Atlanta, I remember Nick. I remember because Nick was one of my favorite streamers at the time.
Yeah.
Because I didn't just love how he played the game. I loved his storytelling.
Right.
And how he talked to his community. And that's what was like, I was like, I need to be that good. I want to be that good at telling stories about my life and stuff like that with my community and open myself personality-wise. That was the biggest thing that drew me to Nick. And so I remember like yesterday, he tweeted that he was coming to Atlanta, and I fucking freaked out. I was in the car in Uber. I was like, he and Chris have followed each other at the time. Okay. I was like, Chris, you gotta get me with Nick, bro. I said, you gotta get me there, bro. I swear to God, I'll love you forever. And he was like laughing. And I was backstage, and Nick was, I mean, he's right here.
Right.
Around like his 4 bodyguards and shit like that. Tell me this is there. Like, you're on 4 bodyguards and shit, looking like LeBron. And I blew Chris's phone. I was like, bro, he's back here. He's back here. You gotta get back here. Get back here. But he missed him, and then he ended up catching a flight back home.
Yeah.
So then fast forward, the day we played on stream.
Okay.
I remember I was on like, this is COVID. So I was back in Arizona at my mom's house, and I was on like a 100-day streak. Right. So I was streaming every day, having fun or whatever. And I remember I was just playing. Sorry. I remember I was just playing, and my chat was like, yo, Jay, they got an open spot. Play with Nick and Chris. Play with Nick and Chris. And I was like, guys, relax. Like, if I'm gonna play with them, Chris will text me.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes later, Chris was like, yo, get on. Nick wants to play with you. Dude, I freaked the fuck out, bro. I freaked out.
Yes, sir.
And my biggest reason for this, again, was I don't care about being the best.
Right.
I'm not a competitive guy. I literally just wanted Nick to like me.
Right.
That's all I wanted.
Right.
I wanted Nick to like me. So we played for about an hour and a half together. It was me, Swagg, and Nick. And I think, not this time, the next time, Swagg had dev-aired, and me and Nick had got like a dual squad win together. Oh, so it was awesome. Right. Yeah, I was like, there's a clip of me where I'm like shooting the ground, because at the time there was a glitch.
I remember that. Yeah.
And then I was shooting the ground, and they were like, look up. And I was like, oh. It was flying up in the air, and I killed him, and we won the game. Right. But we were playing together, and Nick liked me solely because I was ass. Right. Dude, that whole time we played, I didn't get over 10 kills. Right. That whole hour, I just wanted them to like me. I was freaked out. It was awesome. So I was just buying plates, buying UAVs, resin them. That's all I was doing. Right. So being a team player. So then the time he rated me, that was fucking insane. So at this time, I still couldn't afford like a new PC. I was on Swagg's old first ever PC. And we were playing. He got off early for some reason. I was just playing like by myself, I think. And all of a sudden, I looked to my left, and I went from like 60 viewers to like 50,000.
Jesus.
It was just infamous. I was like, what the fuck is going on? My computer literally froze.
Wow.
I was so scared that my stream was going to end, because my computer was frozen for how many people that were chatting in there. And I think still today I got some people who came from the MFam raid that are still watching me today, which is a blessing. Love the MFam. Love everybody that's still there. And when he rated me, I was just like, I just did. Like, when things like that happen, I sometimes don't know what to do.
Right.
When like Trainwrecks comes in and gives subs, or if Tim the Tapman, or like when these big streamers come to my stream, like I still want to be myself, but I don't want to like lose focus and only be on them, but like still be myself. It's a really weird thing.
It is a real dynamic.
And I'm like, so like, and like I don't know how to be overly expressive. I'm just like, thank you so much, thank you. Like I appreciate it, but like. And I just don't want to keep going back because I don't want to look ungrateful. Right. It's really like an interesting thing that I still learn today with it. But when that happened, that was fucking insane. But even there, like, you know, people think when you get rated that big from people that you're just automatically like a huge streamer now, and like you're an average 1,000. Like, no, it's usually not the case. You still gotta go. You still gotta grind. You still gotta go live. You still gotta do your thing. But and Nick doesn't usually rate anybody, by the way, too. So to be one of those people that he rated, I was like, yeah, he must really like. So it was awesome.
That is an awesome thing, you know, somebody that you look up to and that you admire to do that, because that's kind of like my dynamic with Swagg when I first got into this thing. Like, just him liking me was like enough for me.
Yeah, that's all I wanted.
And then, you know, him and I ended up being friends, just like how you and Nick are friends. You guys have your back and forth on Twitter, and you guys are seeing each other in person and all of that. That has to be a great feeling.
No, it's a blessing. I mean, just being able to create relationships, positive relationships throughout the community is an awesome thing. I know, like, I'm my crazy self when I'm with my guys and stuff like that, but to just still like be cool with a lot of these people. Like the other day ago, we saw Scump, and Scump was like, "You're one of the most genuine dudes ever. I love you." I was like, and I was just like, "Scump? me?
Right,
I was like,
right,
me?
right.
Like, it's really cool. So it's a blessing.
Yeah, it is. I have a quick story about Nick because I know he'll probably see this. So I never got a chance to tell him this. And I've been around when he was around. We just never got a chance to meet. I remember, and this was in 2018. You probably don't even remember this. Or maybe it was 2000. Whatever the Anaheim was.
19.
Yeah,
19.
whatever
18,
the Anaheim,
19.
that last one. Right. And this is how I knew about Nick. And I don't want to mention the person that he was with because I know him and him don't get along anymore. But they were together. And they were outside. And I walked up, and Nick was making people do push-ups. Like, this dude was making people do push-ups, bro.
It's Nick.
He was literally making people do like, when I tell you he was making people do push-ups, we're talking about outside of the Anaheim, making people do push-ups, and then he made them race. Like, that's just I always remember that story because at that point in time I didn't know who he was. I knew he was big because I knew who Nate Shot. I said his name. I knew who Nate Shot was. I just didn't know that Nick was Nick because I wasn't like super into streamers. But that's my story about Nick. And from that point on, I followed him, and I'm like, this dude is a genuine dude, and I love that dude. Yeah. So for him to go full circle and bless somebody that I look up to and that I admire is amazing.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I mean, he's still doing great things. Even Papa Mercs, that motherfucker's crazy. But I have a great relationship with him as well. So it's awesome to just, be friends and, acquaintances and just have that good relationship with Nick and his family. Just not from a gamer standpoint or like to benefit myself. Right. Just to just be like two grown men that like have respect for each other and like genuinely friends. Like I don't even talk about the games and the money. Like, how are you doing? How's life? How's family? Right. You know what I'm saying? Like shit like that. Like you're mental. Yeah,
like you guys are genuine friends.
Yeah.
I love that. I absolutely love that. To be friends with somebody that you looked up to is amazing.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
So now that at this point in time, you're not really doing as much Call of Duty. GTA RP. Talk about some GTA RP.
Like I said, God has blessed my brain with a lot of creativity at the time.
Right.
When it's there. I want it fully, but at the time.
Right.
I always said when I get a PC that actually works, I'm getting on GTA RP.
Right.
I'm getting on it. And I had my excuse me. I had my COVID. I want another COVID. I'm not gonna lie.
Right. Bro, I say that all the time.
Oh my God. The money and the fucking inflation of shit was insane.
Right.
My birthday stream, I got really drunk. I haven't done a drunk stream in a while. They want it back.
Right.
I got up to 5,000 subs, probably the most subs I still ever had in my Twitch history. So I bought a PC like then and there. Nice. So when I got the PC, about a month later, I was playing COD. Every time I play COD with the boys, I get off. They'll all get off, and I'll go play GTRP. Yeah. And I'm not gonna lie, like first of all, I'm not trying to diss anybody, but for myself, I'm a fucking grinder.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm a grinder, and I know that.
Right.
Like, I'm getting on at 4 p.m., and I'm getting off at 5 a.m.
Right.
And I'm back on it. The only thing that I wish I did more was my YouTube.
Right.
And so I would play with the boys. We would get our sessions in, and then they will all go to bed, get off, and then I'll get on RP.
Right.
And then just seeing the creativity and all that stuff, it became a lane for me. Mm-hmm. And because I know I wasn't the guy or whatever, but like it kept to show more of my entertainment personality that I try to show my group when I'm playing Call of Duty in there too. And I wanted to also show that like I am not just like JSmooth, the Call of Duty player. I'm JSmooth, the gamer.
Right.
I play everything.
Yeah.
I'll try Elden Ring. I'll play Hogwarts. I'll play GTRP. I'll play 2K. I'll play Assassin's Creed. I'll play fucking throwback games. Like, I'm a gamer. Like, I love video games as a whole. So being on GTRP, that was a definite thing. I still do it today. I'm not as intense as I was with it. I'm a little more chill back because I was in the first ever version of Grizzly World.
Yeah.
By the way, if anybody who's still in Grizzly World see it, if RNO is still a thing, I ain't gonna cap. I'm one of the godfathers of it.
There you go.
So I'm one of the godfathers of one of the games that I think is still in Grizzly World after 3 years later. And that was just, I don't know, it was just fun. It was really toxic, I'm not gonna lie. Mm-hmm. But it was just a new thing, and I don't know. It was just really, really fun. My community loved it. And then at that time, there was so much content. So I was doing RP and I was doing Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah.
I was watching Hell's Kitchen. Yeah. And that's just how I ended my streams. It was a great time.
You know what? I said this when you first started doing it, and I still believe it to this day, the type of personality you have is perfect for stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't necessarily, like with Call of Duty, it's more about getting gameplays, dropping 30 kills or whatever. But when you play a game like RP or you're playing Elden Ring, you're playing Hogwarts, you really get to show who you are as a person. And for you, the type of big personality is perfect. You know what I mean? And you have the one character that you were doing, the cop, bro. I think that was some of the, I'm not even kidding you, bro. That was some of the best Twitch streams that I ever watched. And at that point in time, bro, I'm watching a lot of Twitch. Like, I'm not watching it as much anymore just because my lane is different. But like when you were doing your cop, bro,
Thank
my God.
Thank you. Yeah, Mr. Harold Johnson.
Yeah, Mr. Harold
Johnson. I remember because the thug thing, so like, you know, you go two ways. You're either be a gangster thug or like a cop or police officer. And it was getting a little played out for me. There's a little bit of it's like a little popularity contest when you're like a thug and everybody wants to be around the big streamer, stuff like that. But like, I was sitting there and my whole chat's like, oh, you're going to be an op now. But I'm like, guys, you got to think about this. I'm going to get more RP scenes. Yeah. Because I was watching other people. I was like, I'm going to get more RP being a cop. I'm going to pull you over. I'm going to arrest you. I'm going to get in a gunfight. I'm going to do all this stuff. I'm going to cuff you. All this stuff like that. And it's different from me. And then also I can like talk shit to you. And you're gonna back out like a gun and be all weird about it. If I don't have a gun as a thug, I got a gun as a cop. Right. So being Harold Johnson was that was a really fun thing. I don't know how I came up with Harold.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, how did you even think to even come up with that character?
The community, the Smooth Gang community. I asked him, I was like, what should we name him? And I was gonna be like, Mike Jones, Mike Larry, whatever. I was like, nah. And then I was like, let's get like a really like weird. I was like Harold. Just came up with Harold. And I was like, Harold, and they're like, Johnson. I was like, all right, bet, let's do it. Harold Johnson, that's it. And I was Harold Johnson, and then I was really, I was on there every day as a cop. Yeah. I forgot about like my civ character to call it, the civilian. I was on the cop all the time. A lot of them do miss it. They want me to bring it back. Yeah. How RP's going right now, I could later, but I don't know. I just had a lot of fun doing it. And it was a new lane of RP. So like, it was just fun. Like, if you wanted to be an asshole, I could be an asshole back. But if you want to talk things out, I could be like a little crooked. It was really cool.
So let me ask you this, and I know a lot of your community wanted to know this because I've seen it, you know, going back and preparing for our interview. Why did you never post your RP stuff?
I actually tried it one time on my main channel, and it just didn't do good. Okay. At all. A lot of people asked me that, and it just didn't do good. At this time, I wasn't thinking about having a second channel. Okay. Which I now do have. Right. Where I post more of my gameplay content from what we have or from my streams. Yeah. Yeah. And then but my main channel, especially at that time, I was still trying to figure out what I really wanted to do and what's the niche for it now. Right. Which we now have, which is my food content. Right. So that was just really it. Just archive now and wherever. I hope we can archive Twitch streams. That'd be cool to go website and look at them. But yeah, it just didn't work. I tried it one time. It didn't work on the channel. It did really bad as a video though. Right. So it was just kind of like, you got to see it, you know, be there. You know, there's some stuff from TikToks or some clips. I tell my mod to clip things all the time, maybe highlight stuff. So there's some little clips you can see now. But yeah, it's kind of what it was. It just didn't work on YouTube.
Hey, I understand this. You got to go with what works. Yeah, you have to. You have to. So now you're doing your food content, which, in my opinion, I think I love that more than. Besides the RP, I think I love that more than anything you ever done. And the reason why is because, like I said, your personality. It allows you to show your personality in different ways. Like, I was literally just watching the snacks video 2 days yesterday.
Thank you.
I was watching that video yesterday, and I said, "Oh, this is your lane." And you know, and I'll be even more honest with you, seeing you not shy away from, but back away from COD and try other things, inadvertently has an effect on what I do now. Like, you've inspired me to go in a different lane. Seeing what you do and seeing also what Dante do, that inspired me to do this. You know what I mean? Awesome. Because I thought that I had to be locked in the COD. Yeah. And I know at one point in time you probably felt that way as well. Yeah. But you know, you can see that you can do other things. So
I remember moving here, and I remember the first thing Chris told me to do when I came in his room. He was like, He was like, yo, while we're out here, this is when we first moved to LA, he's like, one of you guys needs to get into the IRL lane. And it'll probably be you. But one of you guys needs to get into the IRL lane. And so I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, like first, if I wanted to do RP, or not RP, IRL stuff, food stuff, whatever. And then I just did the food video, and it fucking did 120K.
Right.
It blew up. It was my first ever 100K video. So I was like, okay, that was it. But even with that, I don't know if there's more questions, but even with that, I'm not gonna lie, I did have discrepancies about it.
Why is that?
Because I was like, am I being corny?
Okay.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't fully always care about what other people think, but sometimes it creeps in your mind all the time. Doesn't matter who you are.
Right.
And so, you know, and it's awesome. These athletes, these rappers, all this stuff like that are texting Swagg every day. I'm like, you know, Anthony Davis ain't gonna watch me eat no food. Like he watched, so like I'm thinking like too in too deep, and then I get reminded, and I go on TikTok and I see Keith Lee, you know, regular schmegular dude sitting in his daughter or son's chair or whatever, just rating food, you know, and I'm just like, you know, and that even recently, I sometimes like I just overthink it sometimes with it, and I'm like, dude, it works. It's awesome. It's cool. Like I was bouncing around between like doing COD and IRL. But like, cause I wanted to show my personality through IRL while still having the gameplay of COD.
Right.
But when COD started dipping down for me and IRL going up, I was like, you gotta do this.
Yeah.
So, and even with just food, there is still more IRL content I want to do. Cause my biggest thing is I want to brand JSmooth as JSmooth.
I like that.
I don't want to be JSmooth the COD player.
Right.
I want to be JSmooth the entity.
Right.
So if I play a game, I did a guess that pro basketball player video.
Yeah, I saw that.
If I do a sports video, a food video, a shopping video, whatever it is, my community is gonna love whatever I do.
I love it.
And that's the biggest thing. It's the hardest thing to do, but that's the biggest thing I want to do. So, and like you're inspiring me. I should have been to this podcast. Everybody asks me all the time why I haven't done the podcast. And you know, there's so many different things that, you know, I have to put in the back first, because I have to build this first.
Right.
And once I build this first, I swear to you, everything that I wanted to do, I'm going to do. So once the main JSmooth channel is at 800K, a million, it's doing well, it's prospering, whatever we do, I promise you, I'm going to dabble into everything that I've been trying to do. There's so many things that I have to push back that I have to wait on.
Right.
And I've had talks with this all the time. So I have to handle this first, and then later on, I can end up doing it.
I could definitely see you being a podcast host.
Oh, absolutely.
I could definitely see that.
I can talk all day,
yeah,
man.
I can definitely see it. The same way people say that they like, this is my lane, this is your lane too, like for sure.
There's a lot of things I want to do, man. I want to act. I want to podcast. I want to still do the gaming. I want a gaming channel where I just game for fun on it and do runs of it. I want to do so much content ideas, but you know, there's a perfect timing for it all, and I just gotta keep putting in my work here right now today.
Okay. Outside of NICKMERCS, who was the person that you met through content, through gaming, kind of had you fan out? It could be an athlete, it could be an actor, it could be anybody.
I mean, and that like recognized me or knew of me?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot.
Well, just give me one off the top of your head.
I mean, AD.
Yeah, so that's the one that I was thinking you were going to say.
AD.
How is that being, like, you guys are actually homies.
I mean, so the first one was Ben Simmons.
Okay.
I'm going to be honest.
Right.
And I know a lot of people say, oh, Ben is a great, like, dude.
Right.
He is, like, me and him are, like, really, really good friends. Like, he is a great guy. Like, we have a great relationship. I remember he DM'd me on Instagram. Was like, yo, like, when you come to LA, let's link. And I'm like, nigga, I'm broke. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I can't pay for shit that you. This is how I'm thinking. I'm like, I'm going to get the Uber. I'm like, I know my dinner plate going to be about $250. Like, I'm not thinking like, you know, they're going to pay for everything. I'm just like, oh, I don't got the stature hang on them. So he was one of the first. And then, you know, Tim the Tap Man and some of these other content creators. And then some rappers, you know, hit me up and DM. But a lot of things happened through Swagg, but when AD came by, I remember AD like it was yesterday too. Swagg had won one of his tournaments, 100K tournaments, and AD dropped 100 gifted. And his name was Ant Davis 3. And I'm in the Discord because, when he wins, we all get lit in the Discord and stuff.
Right.
And I'm like, Chris, look in the chat, I was like, is that? He's like, no. I was like, is that who I think it is?
Right.
And he was like, and then right then, AD DMs him and says, yeah, it's me. Fucking that's typical AD shit.
Right.
So, and to now just, when we linked up last year and to get him a new squad and to be friends with him, it's so dope. He's a great dude, father, husband. He's smart as hell.
Right.
He is smart as hell. Like, we go to him for advice and all that stuff.
That's dope.
So, but yeah, he's probably one of the biggest that, like, I got to meet face to face and said what up to. I ran into, like, a lot of them. Like, I ran into Little Baby, but, like, it was, like, a really tight, like thing. Right. So it wasn't like, yo, Little Baby. It was really just like, oh, shit, like, it's Little Baby. And I got to kind of go because it was, like, you know what I'm saying? But, yeah, AD at the top of my head is probably him and Ben were probably, like, two big guys. I mean, I love basketball, you know what I'm saying? So to be, like, around those people is really dope. Even Seth Curry was another one. I remember Seth Curry.
That's my guy.
Yeah, I know you guys are really, really cool together.
Yeah, that's my guy. Like, for real. Yeah. Seth is my guy.
So, like,
I've been trying to get him on the podcast. We talked about it. So
you're gonna get him. Yeah, he's a season.
Yeah. After the season, we'll probably figure it out.
It's always the best. Yeah, those guys, and this is some football players. Shout out to Sauce Gardner. That dude. Like, and that like I said, I'm really, really, we're all really, really blessed and fortunate, not only to meet these type of people, and like not be like, yo, it's AD the basketball. Like, it's just AD.
Right.
That's my homie. That's the guy. That's the craziest thing.
Crazy.
But on top of it, these guys are the most genuine, nicest people. Like, I'm so lucky. I have not ran into an asshole athlete. Like, I don't know how. I'm really lucky. Like, they're extremely nice, bro. Like, they're so cool. So it's dope.
And it's funny because, like, your personality is cool and laid back. Their personality is cool and laid back. Game, recognize game. See what I did there?
Facts.
I was kind of corny, but
nah. People don't believe it. I'll be late.
Yeah.
I just be chilling.
Yeah, it was what it was.
I like that.
Hey, bro, but I know you got to go. You got things that you got to do, and I don't want to take up too much more of your time. There are a couple things that I do want to ask you before you get out of here.
Go ahead.
I asked this of everybody that comes from the Call of Duty team just because that's where I came from. Mm-hmm. Top 5 CODs.
5?
Your top 5 CODs that you've ever played, and if you could put them in order, I would appreciate it. But if you can't, just give me the top 5.
All right, I'm gonna go 5 to 1.
Okay.
Maybe a little harder. The 5th one, actually, let's go 1 first.
Okay.
Because it's a little bit tougher.
Okay.
BO2.
Okay.
By far, that's my favorite game of all time.
Okay.
That shit, I fucking love BO2, and I love it because I can play the support part.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm just a team player, man. I just like helping out the team. Right. So while Swaggy and Nukes, I'm dropping VSATs and EMPs and fucking and counter UAVs.
There you go.
So BO2, MW3.
Uh-huh.
That's another. And all these I really play with my homies, which is Swag and a lot of my good friends a lot. So BO2, MW3. MW2, I'll give it to love.
Yes, sir.
Then BO1.
Ooh.
And then the last one, people are going to be pissed about this one, I think. BO4. No, BO3. I'm sorry. BO3.
Okay. That's a great list. What are you talking about?
People just don't. BO3 is incredible.
Right. Right.
It had the best one of the best CDLs. It was incredible.
Yeah, that's an amazing list. Yeah. I didn't think you were gonna give MW2 any.
No, I'll give MW2 his credit. I'll still give it his credit because we're not here today without it.
Okay, talk to me nice because your boy was like didn't even name it. And I'm like. And I knew he was going to do that. I knew he was going to piss me off by not saying MW2 because I knew he was going to do that.
He never played it, though.
Yeah,
I got to play it. I was terrible. Right. I had a 0.5 KD. I didn't know what I was doing. But, like, it was still, I know, looking at the videos and stuff like that, it was incredible.
Yeah. So, I remember he went back to try to play it, and then he still said it was ass. But, it was one of them had to be there things.
And it also was one of the best map sets ever.
100%.
The maps are incredible.
They'll never be another COD or maybe like a COD community like it was back from MW2 all the way up to like the beginning of Modern Warfare 2019. Mm-hmm. I don't think we'll see that anymore.
Warzone, but they gotta get their shit together.
Listen, they gotta get their
shit together.
They gotta get it together.
But it was MW2 was great, man. From the campaign to the multiplayer to everything, the spec ops, like I'll give it credit. Of course I would.
Last question before we go. Because you do food content, your go-to food, if you had to only eat one thing for the rest of your life, what would that be?
You know what? They ask me this all the time. And so, you know, this is maybe there's one weird one, I guess, and there's one like basic one.
I want both of them then.
So the weird one, I think I really, really, really love chicken thighs. I think chicken thighs are incredible.
Okay.
So I like chicken thighs, rice. I'm cool. But if anything else, tacos. I think tacos are just incredible. I can
always eat a taco.
I can always eat a taco, man. I can't get rid of a taco. I love the tacos, man. They're fire.
I love that. All right, my brother, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. Thank you again for coming on.
Game recognized game. Game recognizing game, man. This is a beautiful thing, man. If you haven't got your ass on this podcast and T hitting you up, get your ass on the podcast.
Let them know, because there's a few people that I have asked that I already said yes. Yeah. But maybe a little push from you will get them here a little quicker. And
make sure y'all subscribe and like the video, all right, man? Appreciate that. I love what you're doing, T. I love this, bro, for real. We'll love this.
Brother. Thank you so much. All right, guys, that has been the JSmooth episode of the Game Recognized Game podcast, man. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Turn on those post notifications to be up to date with every video that we drop. We appreciate you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, my
Get this hair.